What's up guys, welcome back. Today I'm sharing my full AMS2 setup, FFB settings, custom file, graphics, and my Reshade preset. Everything I personally run to get the most out of this game. Let's get into it. So starting with the handling. First up is my CSL-DD 8 Nm settings in the Fanatec software. Yeah, I know the CSL-DD is getting on a bit, but it still does the job for me, so don't write it off. Force feedback is at 100. Anywhere between 80 and 100 is fine. It depends on your wheel and what feels right to you. If you're on a stronger base, like a DD Pro or Podium, bring it down a bit, or you'll run into clipping. My thinking with FFB is simple. I want the wheel out of its own way. No dampening, no over-filtering, just the raw signal coming through clean. Feel the road, not the settings. Now the custom FFB file, and for me, this is where it all comes together. It's called rFuktor. Started by Karsten, then Shadak and Panos added their ATMOS base Evo v1.6.1 on top. There's also a partial Reiza knee-def implementation, and Stakanov has further refined the whole thing. A lot of names I know, but that's actually the point. This file has been worked on by some really talented people over a long time, each one building on what came before. That's what makes it stand out. In AMS2, it just feels alive. The wheel tells you exactly what the car is doing all the time. To install it, drop it into Documents Automobilista 2 folder, replace the FFB_custom_settings file. Done. Link in the description. In-game, make sure custom is selected as your FFB type. Nothing else will work with this file. I'm keeping the in-game settings minimal. No software effects, no dampening, no extra friction. That stuff sounds good on paper, but in practice, it just muddies the signal. I'd rather have the wheel talking to me directly with nothing in between. That said, FFB is personal. If my numbers don't work for you, tweak them. Use this as a starting point. Right, visuals. Let's talk about how the game looks. My AA is set pretty high, worth it on my setup. If you're short on frames, that's the first thing to drop. Grass is off, motion blur is off. Motion blur in a sim just feels wrong, and grass costs more than you'd think for something you never really look at. If your CPU is struggling, stutters, inconsistent frame times, try capping the visible car count. Makes more of a difference than people expect, especially in big grids. Visual effects. I've turned a fair bit off here. The reason is that a lot of the game's built-in effects don't play nicely with Reshade. Bloom, lens stuff, color grading. If you run both at the same time, things get doubled up and start looking off. So I stripped the game back and let Reshade handle it all instead. Cleaner results, more control. Last one, my custom Reshade preset. The idea was simple. Don't reinvent the wheel, just make the game look better. Sharper detail, cleaner image, but the color palette stays close to default. I didn't want it looking like a different game. The big thing I focused on was making sure it holds up in all conditions. A lot of presets look great in the sun and fall apart at night or in the wet. I've tested this across different weather, different times of day, different seasons. It should look consistent throughout. It's a subtle change, and that's intentional. It just cleans things up without going overboard. To install, drop the file into the AMS2 root directory, open Reshade in-game, and select it from the preset list. That's it. If you haven't installed Reshade before, I've got a separate video walking through the whole thing. Link is in the description, and that's the lot. Full setup in one video, FFB to visuals. Hope it helps. If it did, a like goes a long way. Everything mentioned, the rFuktor file, the preset, all the settings, is in the description, so you don't need to be pausing and screenshotting. Drop a comment and let me know how you get on. See you in the next one.